Welcome to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. Today is episode number 218. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, how are you today? We just got through this thunderstorm and it looks like the sun's going to come out, so it's a beautiful day. And I have a really interesting interview for you today that I'm so excited to share with you, because what I did is I have a client that I'm working with that I just started working with, and she's had so many aha moments just in 2 sessions, and it's changed her so immensely that I wanted to actually talk to her on this podcast and share some of her revelations with you that might help you. Her name is Tracie, and she so inspired me that I actually did a podcast on her already on episode number 216, How to Manage Self-Sabotage in Menopause, all based on my first session with her. So go back and listen to that before you hear this or after you hear this, because you'll find it fascinating too. But anyway, with Tracie, as you'll hear, is that she's had so many aha moments based on this technique that I taught her about how to talk to these opposing thoughts that go on in your head, that I wanted her to actually share her own experience with you. So if you're walking, if you're driving, if you're lying down, whatever it is you're doing, sit back, relax, walk, whatever, and listen to what Tracie has to say about going all in on herself. Enjoy. Hi, Tracie. Welcome to my podcast.
Thank you, Dr. Deb. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, so, it's a little bit different that I'm having you here because you're actually right at the beginning of my program, and usually I have people come on when they're finished. So this is very special for me, and the reason that I wanted to have you on is because you have gotten so excited over 2 sessions and have had such amazing changes already in the way you think and your behavior that I really wanted to share it with everybody, because I know that there's so many people out there that were thinking just like you about some of the things that you talked to me about. And I even made a podcast off of our first session. So for people who are listening to this, the podcast I did about self-sabotage and menopause is basically from my session with Tracie, who's here today. So, Tracie, can you tell me what we did is on our first session together, which was maybe, I think it was 3 weeks ago now, right? I think it was 3 weeks.
Yes, today will be 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Or
And
starting 3 weeks. Sorry, it's been 2 full weeks. We're starting our 3rd week.
2 weeks, yes. Okay. And there's so many things I want to talk about with you that are very exciting to me and can be very inspirational to other people. So the first thing is what made you, and I just want to talk about this because you're right in the beginning. And a lot of people have a lot of problems about making that commitment financially and time-wise to do something like this. And I know you had that same kind of struggle in your own mind about to do it or not to do it. And I thought maybe if you wouldn't mind just talking about that a little bit, about what made you decide to do this.
Well, I've been listening to your podcast for, I don't know if it's been a couple of years, I'm thinking, or maybe a year, I'm not for sure.
Yeah.
But like everyone else, I listened to the podcast and I would hear different gals come on while you were either coaching them or after they had been coached. And every single one that spoke, I thought, oh, they're my soul sister. They're speaking my language.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what they said, it was always something that I felt related to me.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think made me make the phone call for, what do we call it? What's the first session called? Our orientation or
mini session. Yeah.
So what made me call for the mini session was that I had listened to a different life coach who's a master certified life coach. And just in a conversation, she had said that she has her own life coach and her own business coach and her own weight coach. And I went, what? I'm thinking, she's a master certified life coach and she has her own weight coach. And I thought, wow, if a life coach needs help with their own thinking, I certainly need help with my thinking.
Huh.
because I had lots of information. I've had all the podcasts I've listened to. I have read books. I've had coaching materials, but it just reading it and listening to it was not clicking with me. So I thought I have to have somebody that's going to help me dig into my brain to see what is going on in here that I'm not getting it, because there's something that's not quite clicking. So I called you or messaged you for our first, our very first mini session. We did that.
Yeah, we
and
did
a couple
it.
of things I remember you said to me, and I thought, oh wow, you know, it was pretty inspirational, life-changing right there. And then we talked about how much it was going to be. And I knew from hearing in podcasts that girls would say, oh, it's expensive, but worth it. So I had an amount in my mind that I thought was expensive. And then it was more than what I anticipated. And I said to you, I'm going to have to save up the money for that. That's what I thought.
Right.
And I got off the phone, and I think within a few days, maybe, you had presented a group coaching that you're currently doing. And I thought, you know what, I think we'll do that group coaching then. I'll do that instead. And so
I want to interrupt you. I want to interrupt you
Yes.
for 1 minute.
Sure.
Because you sent me a text message in between this about a dream you had. And the dream you had was about a puzzle piece?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So after our mini session, I woke up in the middle of the night. I actually sat right up and I thought, I've been trying to put this puzzle together for weight loss. And in our mini session, I think I had even said to you that I get to the point in the puzzle and it's ticking me off, and I just bust the whole puzzle apart because I can't get it. So I get frustrated and I just bust it all apart. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I sat up and I thought, the reason why I can't put my puzzle together is Dr. Deb has my puzzle pieces in her pocket. That was my dream.
So weird.
And I thought, if I could get the reason why I couldn't do it, I didn't have the pieces of the puzzle that I was trying to put together. So I thought, if I could get those pieces from you and have you help me fit them in together, I knew that was the direction I needed to go in. It was going to help me tremendously.
Yeah.
So I forgot about that dream.
Yeah, because I remember it. I still have it because I thought it was such an interesting dream right after we talked. And you were pretty, hesitant about wanting to spend the money because you had just gotten out of debt and you didn't want to go in debt again. And then you decide, when you heard about my group, you decided that would be less expensive. And so you were going to do that, right?
Absolutely. And I paid the money to do that. And
That's
I thought
right.
that was very doable. But then I had this thought I have been a participant in other group programs, and I think they're very beneficial, but I really thought, I've watched lots of people get coached. I can see their thinking. I can absolutely see when somebody else makes a comment, I thought, well, that's their thinking that's causing that. I can see that with other people. But for myself, I felt that all my thoughts were real and true. And the stuff that I was saying to myself, was absolutely not true that I'm now seeing. But my main things that I was saying to myself was, sorry.
That's okay.
I was saying that, sorry. The three main things I kept saying to myself is that I'm a sugar crack zombie because I would binge eat at night. And I thought that was very true. I thought, you can say it's my thought, but it's true. That's right. And then I would always say, what's wrong with you? What the heck is wrong with you is the other thing I would say.
That's
Something's wrong with me. I'm a zombie. And just all these different thoughts that I thought were really true.
That's right.
And I was pretty adamant that you were wrong, that they're not my thoughts, that I'm right and they're true. But it was so funny. So, but anyway, after I thought more about it, I thought, you know what, I really need the one-on-one. And I thought, I'm just going to jump in and I will figure out how to pay for it. And I thought the other thing was interesting too, is one of your clients had said that, I think you had finished coaching with her, is that she had said that she got coaching around the mindset of spending the money. I thought, oh, wait, Dr. Deb can coach me on that too. She can coach me around my mindset if I'm having struggles with the money part of it, because why not? You can help me with that too if I needed it, because it all fits together. So
yeah.
So I messaged you back and I said, let's do it. And I jumped in. And the one thing I decided to do was to go all in. So I'm going all in because once I'm paying for it, I'm going to do whatever I'm asked to do. I'm not going to skip pieces. I'm not going to mess around. Let's just jump in and go for it. And then our first session, we talked, and I thought, this paid for it. This paid for, my first session was paid for right off the bat in value. Absolutely.
Amazing.
In full and more.
And that's what's so amazing to me, which is what I want to talk to people about, because there's so much hesitation around time and money, and especially money. No matter how much it is, people say it's too expensive, even when it was less expensive. But for you, the thing that really rang true for me about you, having you on here, is because you were playing with it in your mind. And there's a lot of value in group coaching too. For some people, it's better. But for you, you knew that you needed the individual coaching. You knew that it was the missing puzzle piece to this struggle around weight in your mind. And then you decided to go all in on yourself and do it. And I think that mindset that you had before our first session is what is making this so unbelievable for you, is your mindset to start out with. Okay, I just want to say that for everybody. It's like when you decide to do this program and you decide to go all in on yourself, right there, you are setting yourself up for success. And if people are listening to you and they hear your confirmation that you're all in, that's what it's like for me working with you, is I know you're all in. So I just want to talk about this first session now that has paid for itself, and you've got so many more to go. But you tell me about what your quandary was about these two voices in your head. Just kind of tell me a little bit about it, and then I'll reference it to the podcast. But I want people to hear it in your own words.
Sure. So the very first session, the very first thing that we started talking about is, what is my why? Why am I doing this? What's my compelling reason?
Exactly.
Yes. And so, of course, you asked me, what do you most want out of this? What are you trying to get out of it? And I thought to myself, it's really not about, of course I want to lose weight, because that's why we're, wanting a weight coach. But for me, it was these crazy voices every night that was causing me to, what I thought was causing me to binge eat in the evening. I would eat, nice big salads and kale and great stuff by day. But by evening, I call myself a sugar crack zombie. I felt like I was going to
used to.
Yes, used to. So in the evening, that's what I would do, is I would, go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. Next thing you know, I've eaten 5 brownies, and I've eaten this and this. So anyway, you had asked me what my compelling reason was. And I thought, if I can get that to stop, I knew that was the big key puzzle piece that I needed. And what I felt like it was, because I had heard about urges. I've heard lots of podcasts about urges and about just letting the urge be there. And I'm thinking, but my urges are different, because I have 2 crazy voices in my head. One is saying, go eat it, go get the cookies, go get the whatever. The other voice was yelling back, don't do it. You're not supposed to do it. It was they were yelling back and forth. And I remember our first session, I started bawling on the phone, because I was relating it to my boys. I thought, if my boys were going all out, brawling and fighting, that's like my worst thing as a mother, that I would not want that for my kids. Mm-hmm. And it was like I was watching these 2 people, or 2 voices, battle it. They were like at war. Mm-hmm. And finally, I would just give in to the eating, because I couldn't take the voices anymore. And I thought I was going crazy. I think I told you probably 5 times
you
on that
told me
session. I was going crazy.
That's right. You said, and really it's since menopause that it seems like they got crazier, right?
Absolutely. Because I'm thinking, I remember asking you that question. It says, in menopause, these voices get louder and stronger? Because I don't remember, 10 years ago, these voices being like that. Of course, I had voices that would say, go eat the cookies or whatever. There'd be a conversation maybe back and forth, but this was like all out war screaming, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get the life coaching with you, was to figure that out, because that part was driving me crazy. And that was my most compelling reason for doing it, is to get that to quiet down. So I thought, that quiets down, the weight loss is going to happen, because that's what's holding me back. And I remember after our first session, I got off the phone with you, and I was crying, because first I was crying because I was like trying to explain to you what was going on.
Yes.
And then I cried at the end, because I was so thankful that you were able to, here I'm getting teary-eyed again. I was so thankful that you were able to have such compassion and explain to me about the two voices and what they were. And I think going back to your podcast, you talked about the wild child and the dictator.
That's
and once you explained to that and I understood that, I thought, oh, now I have a name for it. I have a department to put those voices into and have a way to talk to them and work with them.
And that they really are not you. They're just thoughts.
Yes, I didn't know that. I thought
you thought it was you
being crazy. Yes, I did. I thought it was crazy. So I got off the phone with you, and I felt like I lost 20 pounds instantly.
Mm-hmm. It's so unbelievable. When you told me that,
it felt like 20 pounds came off right away, automatically off my shoulders. I felt so relieved that, like I said, that I got the answers I was looking for. But not only that, it's not just that you gave me that piece, and I think it was 2 podcasts ago. I want to say it was 216 was my podcast. I crack up because I would never have thought that I'd be, the subject of a podcast, like a very first session. And then you're like, I have a podcast about that. But I never heard that actual material. I never heard about, the dictator and the wild child, and the way that you taught it to me in our session, and the way, of course, you explained it in the podcast is so beautiful. It's so helpful. But the other thing that I think your listeners to know is that it wasn't only that, but also that, Dr. Deb, you have the tools and the knowledge and the experience and the compassion and the intuition to know exactly what to say to me, to how to help me. Because you could have said, oh, Tracie, in the evening, just go drink some hot tea and go to bed early. Or, you know what, do some thought downloads. You could have said several different things, but you had the intuition to zero in right in to help me with those voices, to give me such peace. And I was able to let those go. It's unbelievable to me. Not only like I said, the actual material, the instruction, the explanation, but also that your intuition to know that that's what I needed to hear.
Thank you. It's so good to hear that. And that's why I do what I do, because I know what I'm put on this earth to do.
Oh, so, absolutely.
But let me say with you and for everybody that's listening is that first you have to go all in on yourself. And then when you do that, and then you decide to get coached, it's like there's this huge opening in your head. That's what happened with you, Tracie, is you had this huge opening. I mean, you were ready. And, like when you're ready, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
And you were ready, and I am your teacher, and I did know what to say to you. And it wasn't something that I've used a lot, but I knew that's what you needed. And it's why I shared it on a podcast, because I thought I forgot about how good it was. But how
it was amazing. It was amazing.
But how good it was for you. And so it's like, that's the thing about individual coaching. And what I want everybody to hear is it's not the same for everybody. What I used for you is not what I've used for anybody else, because this is what you needed. And now you've lost your 20 pounds in the first session without losing any weight.
But the interesting thing is that after that 20 pound of weight, mental weight got off my shoulders.
Yeah.
The last 2, I've only been coaching with you for 2 weeks. I've already lost 6 pounds. So it's just moving forward easily now. It feels much more easier. And the thing is, I'm so excited to see, man, if I could get those kind of results in the very first session. I'm so excited to see, the next 10 sessions that we have to work together is going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what we do and what comes up. But I just think for anybody listening, I was in the same position as you. I would put my podcast on with Dr. Deb. I would say Dr. Deb was my walking buddy. We go for a walk. I've been listening. Yeah, I've been listening to you, like I said, for a year or two.
Right.
But to make these first step, just make the phone call. Make the phone call for the first mini session. It's free. That itself, a little bit of time talking with you was very helpful. And it several things clicked with me. And then, like I said, just make the investment in yourself. Just do it, because I'm telling you, after the first 2 sessions, our second session was amazing too. We're not even talking about that one, but just those first 2 sessions with you they've paid for the whole coaching package already in my eyes. So
Beautiful.
I'm just very thankful and so thankful to have you as my coach, Dr. Deb. And I'm very excited. And like I said, for all the ladies listening, if you're struggling, if you got the craziness going on in your head, like I had, call Dr. Deb. You got to do it.
All right, sweetheart.
Jump in.
Thank you. So this is, I appreciate all your support about me, but really what I want everybody to get out of this is to realize that there's so much hope and that you don't have to wait to the end of my program to get the results, that you start getting them from the minute you start working, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Tracie, thank you so much for being on today and for sharing this so early on. And the other thing that I want to say to you is that one of the loving kindness phrases that I taught you when we have these thoughts in our head about do it or don't do it, the dictator and the wild child, is what I'm going to wish for you and what I'm going to wish for everybody that's listening to this podcast. And that is, Tracie, may you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be free from suffering.
Dr. Deb, thank you so much. And just that mantra, that's my mantra, that I repeat those words every day to myself hundreds of times.
I know. And we're sharing that with everybody. So, if you need it, go back to podcast number 216. And that's where I tell the story about Tracie and how to do this technique, about how to look at your thoughts in a different way and handle urges. Tracie, and we're going to get on the phone in a little bit and we're going to start session number 3. Thank you so much, Tracie.
Wait. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Deb. I love you.
I love you too.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Wasn't this amazing? If you find that what she said was inspiring, please go back to episode number 216 and you can hear about the craziness that she was talking about in her head. The thought of, I want it, I need to eat it, it looks so good, I gotta eat it, to the other thought, which is, I can't eat it, I can never eat it, I shouldn't eat it, it's the bad thing for me, the opposing thoughts that I ended up calling the wild child and the dictator. Please go back to episode number 216, which is called How to Manage Self-Sabotage in Menopause, and you can hear exactly what it is that I taught Tracie that has already been so life-changing. And listen, what are you waiting for? Maybe you want to do what Tracie did and go all in on yourself no matter what. All you have to do is you can set up a mini session with me like she did by going to drdebbutler.com/work with me. You can set up a mini session and maybe this will be the piece that your puzzle needs. And as always, no matter what else you do this week, please, please, please be very, very, very kind to yourself. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
To get a free copy of Dr. Deb's companion workbook with all the tools, homeworks, and discussions that she uses in her podcast with all of her private clients, please go to drdebbutler.com/change. This will make it even easier to follow along with her in future broadcasts.